Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. We have a question that came into customer service from Ray Berger of St. Louis, Missouri, and Ray says, "Dear Serge, I have arthritis bad in my hands and fingers. When I use the overlap grip, I get pain in my left little finger. I am right-handed," so evidently he's getting it. If he's right-handed, then the left little finger is up on top, so the finger at the end of the grip. And he says that when I strike the ball, it gets much worse. So I am using a full baseball grip. Sometimes it's known as the 10-finger grip, as compared to the overlap or the interlock. Okay? So I'm using the baseball grip, and I feel like it is too strong. However, I usually hit a slight draw, not many fades or slices. What can you suggest to lighten up my grip? So when you say lighten up the grip, I'm pretty sure you're now meaning that when you're talking about strong, you're talking about too tight, too much tension. And it probably goes from the fingertips all the way up to through the hands, the wrists, and into the forearms. It might even make it up to the shoulders and to the upper arms and the shoulders. Okay? So whereas compared to strong, meaning normally we talk about the top hand being, or the bottom hand being turned to the right too much on a right hander, or where the left hand would be turning over to the left, where the palms are no longer palms perpendicular to the ground. That's what I call the prayer position. Your hands always bottom out at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, where they'll come into this position and center the spine. So when the palms are perpendicular to the ground, you have the 3P relationship with good alignment. That would be the palms are perpendicular to the ground, perpendicular to your torso, and they will be at, if the club face is square, the club face and the palms will be perpendicular to your aiming line if you're lined up square. So that's the 3P perpendicular relationship of the palms. So that's what normally we call strong, as if that relationship is off. But your strong is definitely referring to grip pressure or tension, whatever you want to call it. So he says, I am to the point that I am not holding the club firmly and my left hand is opening up in my backswing. I love your daily tips and I'm going to start practicing them when the weather clears up. Okay, so I think the first point you've got now is you've gone from a point where you're lightening up your grip too much, and you're not maintaining control of the club. If your top pinky, your left hand at the top for a right-hander, which would be right hand for a left-hander, if your top hand is breaking at the top, then I'm going to suggest, I've got to think first and foremost, you're probably swinging the club up too far. So once the club starts to go past 3/4 and goes this way, and the head starts going down and gravity starts helping it, it starts to let the club come down. And if you're getting too light with everything, it's really showing fingers opening up. So I think definitely you need to get firmer. Now, how do we determine firmer? I have what I call the shake hands test. All right. If you're going to shake hands with somebody, we're going to call it a test between, one would be holding it very, very lightly, like just shaking hands with somebody you just kind of don't even squeeze. All right, sometimes we call that the dead fish handshake. And number 5 would be where you shake hands with someone who's squeezing so tight that if you were wearing a ring with some pretty deep engraving on it, it'd be stamping it into the skin of your fingers, and/or like some guys that like to squeeze, and they especially if they're doing another man, they like to squeeze until they almost see like your eyes are ready to pop out, which is in some cases kind of crazy because you hurt somebody doing that. But the point is we don't want to be a 1, we don't want to be a 5, we want to be a 3, right in the middle, like a good, firm, solid, so to speak, business handshake. Okay, just firm enough. Well, that fits in with what I believe about grip pressure. I've always believed, and I've always taught that this stuff about holding the club like a baby bird or like open tube of toothpaste in your hand is absurd. All right, absurd. I mean, just think about it. Any of you that's out there that's played any sport where you're swinging an instrument that you're holding, a baseball bat, a tennis racket, even ping pong paddles or whatever, but especially if you're swinging it for speed and distance, you don't hold it like a baby bird. You're holding it relatively firm. You find that grip pressure that gives you the firmness and control you need to control and hold this and keep it in your hand so that it's not spinning and it's not going to slip out or whatever. And it's amazing how many people keep saying, gee, I hold it lightly and I keep grabbing it at the top of the backswing. Oh, you're grabbing the club, you're holding it too tight. Don't, lighten up. Heck no. Why are you grabbing it? You're grabbing it because once the club starts going this way, if you're not holding it tight enough and your brain starts to sense that club is slipping out of your hands, what's your brain going to tell your hands to do? Grab it. Tighten it up. It's the exact opposite. If you have to grab the club at the top because it's slipping out of your hands, it's because you're not holding it tight enough. Now, conversely, we don't want to go to the other extreme. So we're going to find that just perfect amount, that number 3 in the middle handshake grip pressure, that gives us total control of the golf club. All right? And that, so if I was to do a test with you, or you can have somebody do it to you, take what you consider your normal grip pressure. I do that with students when I can see they're holding the club way too loose, and I come up and I say, okay, now hold it with your normal grip pressure. I'll grab the head and I'll start to pull it out. And if I get any slippage, if the club starts sliding, hey, that's not tight enough. Or I'll do that, and then I'll do that, and if it spins either with just twisting or pulling, it's too loose. And I'm going to get them to hold up and to increase the grip pressure in both hands, because we want equal pressure in both hands, with the grip of the fingers squeezing upward, like shaking hands. We squeeze upward. We do not bend downward. You should never have thumbprints dug into the grips of your club for the bottom and the top thumbs. You should never get thumbprints because you're squeezing up. All right? And I get them to a point where with just a nice little pressure, I'm going to just a little twist of that, it doesn't give, that's a good pressure. That's one way to find it. Another one is to just keep swinging the club to where you got, with the speed you swing at, you have control of the club. And especially when you start hitting a ball where there's no twisting of the club, or you don't feel like at some time during the swing, which would be somewhere right about from here to there, when the club is going downward and gravity's starting to pull your arms and the club downward, where if it's not tight enough, that grip starts to slip, you know you're in trouble. Find it where you got control all the way from the takeaway, the impact, to the finish, and come here, and then you let go of the club. That you've had no change of the grip pressure and absolutely no twisting of the ball or the club in your hands when you hit the ball. All right? So that's the key. Equal grip pressure in both hands, squeezing up. All right? Now, the last thing I'm going to mention is that maybe, and because we have so many seniors on our website, that it's a natural part of aging that as you get older, there's a good chance you're going to get arthritis and some other issues with your strength. So many times one of the best things to do is to start thinking about getting thicker, or we call it fatter grips. Many companies make grips they call arthritic grips. In some cases they're definitely fatter in most cases, and they have different the rubber in them has different ways they can make it, with some of it being softer, so you could actually squeeze and get a better, what little you can squeeze and get a better grip, and so you need to find out if some of those work. A grip that we're having a lot of success with on the website is we have a program with a company called Enlo Grips, and they're on our website, and you can purchase from them. We're having tremendous success with them. Now the beauty of the Enlo grip is they are fatter than a normal grip. I mean, and it is a reverse grip. Okay, in other words, normal grips are the fattest part is the top of the club for your top hand, and the bottom hand is thinner. Well, these are reverse. Instead of the hole is down in the bottom here to start sliding it on the shaft. So the right hand for a right-hander, left hand for a left-hander would be the fat part, the bottom of the grip, down here. All right. So, and I think these work great. In fact, the beauty of these is that they got a little bit of weight to them. I think so they give us a lot of better feeling of the grip in our hands, as well as they still work great with the head. The Enlo grips come in a rainbow of colors. These are just 4 of them. I got a black one here, then a red one, navy blue. They got a light blue, white. They got a couple different colors of orange, and these things are really working great. And I think they're absolutely awesome for putting, because it really helps me to engage my lower hand more in putting when you get in this on putting. And I have an Enlo grip on my putters. You can see I got the red one on my putter. All right, and this I just love it, because it fits. My hand just fits so nicely on it, with a nice smooth firm grip pressure, not too tight, not too loose, and it just the hand sits in there, right in there. The grip fits in there, and it just feels awesome. And I got good control, good feel, and it really helps, I think, counterbalance my putter very nicely. I putt with very heavy heads, so grips are important too. So if you're having some arthritic problems, you might want to start experimenting with fatter grips. Go see one of our certified instructors. Will help that there. But remember, overall, grip pressure has to be relatively firm, equal in both hands, so that they work together. And that fits into a law of physics. If 2 or more things are involved in the movement of a club, 2 hands moving a golf club with 1 grip on it, they must be equal, because if they're not equal, the one doing lesser than the greater, in this case, if you go one hand holding like a baby bird of both of them and it's not enough, you're in trouble. The one doing less than the greater will put that condition, that system in a condition called drag, and drag's a negative effect. So if you're holding especially the bottom hand, or you're losing your top hand for whatever reason, you need to get equal grip pressure on both hands on the golf club. All right, so check your grip pressure, and then maybe start experimenting. See your fitter, your certified swing surgeon fitter, about getting arthritic grips, or at least built up grips at some degree that starts to work better for you for maintaining grip pressure. Okay, that's it for the search for today, because number one key to hitting a good shot is having a good grip, maintaining good grip pressure so you can make a good swing, hit the ball more solid and straight so you can shoot those lower scores. That's it for today, and I'll be talking with you all again soon.